It's time for Damn Okay.
Damn. Okay.
I'm okay. Damn. I'm okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, yes.
I'm okay.
The legal gambleizing.
Oh, baby. I am Chris Simms. I'm okay. Damn. I'm okay.
Oh, yeah, damn. Okay,
Damn.
so if you're watching on YouTube, you just saw me do a little ditty. Chris was bobbing his head as well. And I've thought of this, too. You know, you often refer to our fans as the homies, part of the homie club.
Right.
You're 40 now.
Yeah.
I've been 40 for a
Right.
little while longer. At what point do we have to retire some of the stuff? At what point do I have to retire moving like that?
Yeah.
And at what point maybe do you have to retire the use of the word yo or homies?
Well, it's not happening anytime soon, I can tell you that. Okay? I mean, maybe I'll reevaluate as I get later into the 40s, but I know I'm riding it at least till 45.
It's more likely we take those words and make them, you bring them down.
But,
it's more likely that than we have to abandon them.
And hip-hop is like part of our generation.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm always going to bob my head and
It'll be like bitching, right? It's like everyone's like, we'll be saying, yo and homies 10 years from now, and the kids will be like, that's so old. I don't know why you're doing that. But we like it. Damn okay. We like these players that stepped up. Let's do the Seattle game against Atlanta.
Oh,
you can give out a lot
my
of damn
gosh.
okays in that one. We often do for Russell Wilson. But Pete threw in a damn okay for Jamal Adams here. 12 tackles, 1 sack, 2 tackles for a loss. Matt Ryan and that Falcons offense got going garbage time, which makes me feel very good about my Matt Ryan pick for most yards in the NFL.
There it is
might get
again.
them all in the third and fourth quarter when they're down 30. But Jamal Adams, when the game mattered, was really good.
It was everywhere. He really, he's just, he's one of the best defensive players in football. And I watched Seattle's offense on film versus Atlanta, so I'll be able to speak more truly to everything we saw there. But I didn't watch the defensive side yet. Just looking on TV, and of course I was keeping a pretty close eye on this game because I think Atlanta's talented, and there was familiarity with the coaching staffs, and of course I want to see Russell Wilson in Seattle. It did look like Seattle did a few more things on defense. A few more things based around Jamal Adams and his talent where, you hear me complain about, it's always the Seattle scheme. It seemed like they went out the box just a little bit, and they don't need much.
So here's from PFF.
Yeah.
Adams blitzed on 11 of 56 pass snaps.
Man, they couldn't have had a safety blitz 11 times last year.
He got 4 quarterback pressures, 1 sack, 2 quarterback hits, 1 hurry.
He is truly one of the best outside linebacker defense end rushers in football. He really is, because he's got great understanding of timing and rhythm of the snap count, right? So he'll be sitting here and you think, he's just coverage, it's coverage, and the quarterback going, blue 85, and he's still sitting in coverage, and he knows right at the right time of when to set, and he starts to go. So he's got a great feel for that, which is instinctive and smart, and you study film. But then, he can accelerate in 1-2 steps. He can literally go from 0 to 60 in the second step. And that surprises blitzers. Or think about if you're like an offensive tackle, right? And, I got to get out here to get my defensive end because he's coming in a speed rush. But my rule is if somebody comes in underneath me, I got to get there to block him. Well, you take that first step because you're going, here comes a pass rusher. And then you look over and you go, oh, man, Jamal Adams is coming, and it's too late because he's just that explosive. That's where he's special that way. He's going to change their defense.
Change their defense. Russell Wilson in what might be a changed offense here. So they want to let Russ cook. You have a different saying. What's your saying? Let him be?
No, let him go. Let him go. I got to think of a Russ song. I think I've gotten a Lamar song. It happened to me.
I'm going to say
which
is how they come about. Okay.
They just come about with me being stupid.
Can't be predetermined, right? They got to just happen. They
No.
got to come out of your mouth.
No. And, I heard someone say dangerous, and I kind of went with that.
For Russell Wilson?
Yeah, because there's this old flip mode squad, Busta Rhymes, so dangerous. Dangerous. I think I got to start doing that.
So that's what you'll do now.
But I don't feel right when his wife is a singer. I don't know. There's a part of me that also thinks maybe he should be Lionel Richie, and she's the backup singer, and I can't emulate that. So that's what I envision sometimes.
Just text her. Just text her and hash it out with her and see if she's okay with this song. But they did. They let him cook. So he was, what was he,
31 of 35.
31 of 35, 322 yards, 4 touchdowns. And I saw this, too. I was looking at the next gen again.
Right.
The Falcons' secondary might not be that great because of those 35 passes, exactly 0 were into a tight window, which is what they classify as 1 yard. Only quarterback in the league this first week that didn't have one pass into a tight window. So to his credit, these receivers were getting open. He used a lot of them. 9 different guys caught passes. They were open. Give credit to Russell for hitting them, and give credit to the Seahawks for letting them throw it.
That's right. Him, Pete Carroll, Brian Schottenheimer, the offensive coordinator. Pete Carroll and Brian Schottenheimer, let's give them credit. They want to run the ball. Pete Carroll wants to run the ball and play defense. Brian Schottenheimer, that's his MO. He's a great run game designer. So I'm proud that they took a different approach, and you saw it right away. It really like popped off the screen when you watched the film. It was a more aggressive pass-first offense. And then you talk about, people being open. Certainly. They had some great game plan plays, had a few screens that were great. Also, nobody understands that defense as well as they do. I mean, it's their defense.
Yeah.
Shit, it started in Seattle. Atlanta just brought it there. So they had a few cute ways to expose it. Greg Olson's touchdown, if anybody saw that, that was just a great we know the rules of your defense, and your rule can't stop this. You're in trouble. And bam, touchdown. But I think it's changed their football team if they can continue to play that way. I still wish they would have a few more schemes in the pass game that I liked. But with their talent, and then Russ's talent, and the talent at receiver, and if you just have an aggressive frame of mind and are willing to throw the ball more on first down, that might make up for their lack of just crazy schemes. And it put them in the driver's seat from pretty much get-go yesterday. Atlanta fought back, but then Seattle closed the door pretty quick.
So in the first half, Wilson passed on 7 of 12 first down plays. Ran himself 2 others. So they weren't straight runs. Many of the first down plays in the first half. So right out of the gates, they were throwing.
It showed. It really did. And had some good play action passes. They were aggressive what they thought of going down the field, had some good play action screens off of it. And, honestly, I just think this is going to make their team better. I think it's going to actually make their run game better, too. Sure. Because everybody goes into playing Seattle going, okay, we got to get ready for a physical in-between-the-tackles slugfest. And they usually appease you and just go, yep, you're right, here you go. And then we'll ask Russ to make the play later. It was the other way around. And, with Lockett and Metcalf, right. They pose problems. You want to put 8 people in the box like Atlanta was doing all the time? Well, fine. You're going to have guys one-on-one out there. And they found Isaiah Oliver a number of times who can't really run. They
had Isaiah Oliver at the line in kind of like that bump and run when he
had a 4th and 5, right?
When he had, at least on the 38-yard touchdown to Metcalf, where it appeared he had deep thirds, but he was right up there at the line trying to battle with him. He had no chance.
No chance. Exactly right. DK Metcalf is in another stratosphere as far as speed, size, all that's concerned. Isaiah Oliver is a good system zone corner. He can't match up and play man-to-man. And really, that was a zone coverage, but when you're playing bump like that, and you don't get back in time, you're going to be in trouble. And
that was the 4th down.
It was. It was the 4th and 5. It was 14-12. You felt like Seattle was controlling the game, but Atlanta's kind of hanging around there. And then he hits that play, and that was it. That was game, set, match, really. Yep. Because the next drive, Atlanta faked the punt, and they got the first down, and the guy fumbled the punt. He fumbled the fake.
Yeah.
Seattle got the ball in the short field. They scored another touchdown a few plays after that, and that was night-night.
Matt Ryan's going good. Those will be garbage time yards for me. So he had 450, did Matt Ryan in the game. But good game for Russell Wilson. Great game for Jamal Adams in his new spot. Another player in his new spot, DeAndre Hopkins, he went off. He went totally against what you've said, is that new players in new places are going to have trouble.
Right.
He was maybe the one guy that really went off in a new spot.
He did go off.
Didn't happen right away in the game. Early in the game, we didn't see him a ton.
Right.
But, man, once the second half hit, 14 catches, 151 yards for DeAndre Hopkins with Arizona, and they go to Santa Clara. They beat the 49ers by 4. I mean, there aren't many teams right now in the NFL feeling better than the Arizona Cardinals right now.
No, they're not. I mean, that was a huge win. And as I said this a little this morning, Kyler Murray, he's kind of the kryptonite for this 49ers defense. In fact, the way the Cardinals play in general, I think really causes problems for the 49ers. That's the one thing that jumped out to me after watching yesterday. What's the greatness of the 49ers? That pass rush. doesn't really matter when you're playing Kyler Murray or Cliff Kingsbury, because he's got so many ways to throw the ball quick and get the ball out of his hands that the greatest asset the 49ers have kind of gets negated against Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals. And then plus when you do get there, or if you do fly upfield and get close, it leaves yourself vulnerable to pass, running lanes to where, oh, there he goes up the middle, zing, 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 and it's like, oh, 25-yard touchdown run by the video game quarterback, Kyler Murray. So that's where they really pose problems for them. And it goes into also, too, a little bit of where we've talked about this before, lack of real man-to-man corners in San Francisco that gives them issues here, because now you have a good spread-out system. The quarterback can run, and we don't really play man-to-man all that well. So we're going to play our zone, but this quarterback and play caller have a lot of plays to find 5- and 6-yard completions and move the ball that way. Either way, the 49ers blew this game still, too. They did. I mean, whether you want to talk about having a punt blocked, okay. I mean, again, in the NFL, you make some of these mistakes. I don't care who you are. You can be the best team against the worst team in football. But you don't.
It was early, but it was 10-0. They were up.
10-0, and you're looking like, uh-oh. They look like they might blow them out of the gym. Now it's 10-7.
Yep.
49ers get the ball, go all the way down the field. You think they're going to score a touchdown. They're 4th and 1 on the 1. This great offensive line. There's no way they get stopped. Get no points there. So here's a game where you've controlled, and you're only up 10-7. That's when life gets dangerous in the NFL.
Well, especially when George Kittle gets hurt in the second half, didn't have a target after halftime, a team that already is depleted in the receiving options here. So I think that really, really hurt their offense, because Kittle looked good.
He looked really good early.
And the plays that he had early.
Well, definitely. You're exactly right. I mean, he popped off. You were like, oh, man. And
they can't stop him.
No.
And he's the only option. They still can't stop him.
Exactly. That's the other thing, too, that I think we got to remember is, the receivers were banged up going into the game. I guarantee Shanahan had a few extra plays in the playbook this week for George Kittle going, I don't have Debo. We're still trying to find the Emmanuel Sanders, replacement or whatever else. So let me give a few extra game plan plays to Kittle. And when he got out, I mean, you went, ooh, wow, let alone their run game didn't work quite the way we usually expected to. No. And what did that do? It went back to Jimmy Garoppolo again. And, again, it's going to be the same type of questions. It really is. Hey, first off, I could sit here and go, I mean, you got Kittle hurt. It's a screen pass. You can't throw the ball 10 feet in the air. It's behind the line of scrimmage. So he exposed Kittle there. And then there was a number of missed throws and missed moments throughout the game. And again, I need to go back and watch the film so I can really pin it down, because I'm watching other games. But there was some moments even before the last drive where I went, oh, I mean, what's he doing? He should have hit that, or he had that guy, or what's he looking at? Let alone at the very end of the game. I mean, those last 2 throws, it's like Super Bowl repeat. The one down the right sideline in the back of the end zone, that's got to be a slam dunk touchdown. It's an out and up. He had Patrick Peterson beat by 10 yards.
Yep.
He threw
underthrew it.
He tried to throw it. You got to just let it, when you hear me say let it rip, right?
Yeah.
Throw it to his chest, but pretend you're going to drive it through his chest. Don't like, oh, I'm going to loft it up there and it's going to go 20 feet in the air and then just fall perfectly in his chest. I mean, Patrick Peterson runs 4.3. That's too much time. So that, and then a crappy out route throw on 4th down, and then they're where they were. They're in trouble in that game.
Yeah, we should look a little bit more at Jimmy G, because Gobbledygook 49 had a question about how much of it is Jimmy G, how much of it is the poor wide receivers and all that stuff. And so, but yeah, it did. There were some throws where you're just like, man, you're right. You can't.
It just didn't look crisp.
You can't have it.
You can't miss it, whatever it is. And I will. That'll be definitely a game I'm going to deep dive tomorrow or maybe later on today at some point.
One thing that was good for the 49ers was Raheem Mostert, that 76-yard touchdown. He was the fastest ball carrier in the NFL.
Ooh, he can fly.
1, by a mile an hour, like a 1.5 miles an hour.
But that just
that fast.
I'm glad you brought up that play, because that just accentuates the bigger picture of what we just said, though. I mean, you take away that play, and again, it's a nice play by Jimmy. He read the play the right way. But that, as far as football and quarterbacks are concerned, that was one of the easier reads you're ever going to have.
Sure.
That play was made for that. And then, of course, you saw the throw. It was a 7-yard throw, and Raheem Mostert ran, the other 69 yards or whatever that was. But you take away that, right? You got 18 for 32 for 150 yards.
Yeah.
I think that just kind of says it. So there's work to be done in that drop-back pass offense. I think that's the big question I got with the 49ers. It's just if that run game and Shanahan's magic's not working, can their drop-back pass offense, make up for it? And I think that's a real question for them going forward.
Sunday Night Football last night, Dallas Cowboys, LA Rams. Rams get the win. Huge win for Sean McVay, 20-17. But our damn okay is Aldon Smith.
Oof.
Aldon Smith coming back. 11 tackles, 1 sack, 2 quarterback hits after basically being out of football for, what has it almost been, 5 years now? Is that how long it's been?
I mean, damn. Like, what? That was insane. It just shows you what a beast of a specimen he is. And if you ever saw him in person, you'd understand it. I mean, he really is. He's got a Julius Peppers type look where you go on the field and you're like, man, that's Aldon Smith? Okay, now I understand why nobody can block him. I mean, he has that kind of body. And it just tells you to be able to do that, not play football that long, be able to be that physically dominant and still move the way he moved. He had Hall of Fame talent, and hopefully he can capitalize on this, second rebirth there. But, yeah, it was fun to watch.
He played 54 of 73 defensive snaps, according to PFF. That was the most of any Cowboys defensive lineman. So that was really good. Wasn't enough to get a win.
No.
Although some people thought maybe the Cowboys should have been in field goal range at the end of the game. Simms Homies, at Simms Homies, shout out, asks, seeing a lot of people talking about that PI on Gallup, calling the PI review to come back. This is a terrible idea, correct? Well, I think it is. Yeah, they would not have overturned that.
I don't
if
think
there was review.
I mean, listen, again, if they're not going to call that on the offensive players, then defense is never going to stop anybody in football.
I agree. There were a lot of people that thought Jalen Ramsey was acting it up, but I mean, there was an arm there, and there
was a clear this.
Yeah.
I mean, again, that's the type of I know it doesn't look egregious, and people want more of but these are very strong pound for pound human beings. I mean, very strong.
And when you're running, it doesn't take much when you're running to throw you off stride.
Right. So there they are. They're both running 4-3. One guy puts his arm into another guy's chest. That guy just went to 4-5.
Yeah.
And why he did that, he catapulted himself to go faster and go 4-2. No, that was pass interference all day long. I thought it was in real time when I saw the ball go in the air. I went, ooh, he pushed off. When I saw the flag, as soon as the flag came out, I go, they're going to call offensive pass interference here. If it all stayed with just hand fighting, then he caught it, I don't think anything gets called. But it was hand fighting, extend arm into your shoulder, push away. To me, that's PI.
Yeah, and I think if a defensive player does that to an offensive player, I think it's a slam dunk.
Well, it's not even close.
Defensive pass interference.
Right.
Yeah. I agree with you on that one. So what do you think of the Rams? There's a lot of short passing game. So what was different? You've talked about that last year, how Sean McVay, they got a little predictable.
Right.
They needed to do something different. Did they in this game?
They did. I think you saw more 2 tight end sets, more of a, whether it was a fullback or the tight end acting as a fullback, gotten some different formations. To your point, Sean McVay won the game. He won the game. I mean, I think you could sit there and go, no, Dallas probably was the more talented team on the football field. But Sean McVay's, what did you just say? Goff didn't throw the ball down the field. I mean, really, other than 1 or 2 throws, everything was Sean McVay special. There's a guy open. Oh, here's a screen. Oh, there's another screen. Oh, here's a fake screen over here. Here's a pick play to get the ball 4 yards. I mean, it was just all Sean McVay specials that way. So between that, the pace of what they call the plays, everything like that, Dallas was handicapped. And the one thing I'll say about Sean, he stays patient with that run. He ain't going to give up on it. And when I really give him credit, it does, because it sets up everything for their offense off of it. Those screens, the play action passes, the bootlegs. He looks like he's found a new little method. And I will break that game down too to get a little more nuance.
Yeah.
But it looked like they got away from so much 11 personnel. They saw a few different run schemes. And I thought I saw a few different play action, bootleg schemes like that too to go along with it, where I went, all right, they don't need much. They just need a little something more just to give them some other element of their offense.
Yeah, Malcolm Brown looked good.
Yeah.
18 carries, 79 yards, couple touchdowns. His longest rush
runs
was
hard.
12 yards, so that was a lot of good chunk plays there for Malcolm Brown. I do think it was interesting with the running backs, because there is a new stat out there that they're trying to look at, and who knows if it's going to work, because some of these stats are wonky, the next gen, the tracking stats. But they have this rushes rushing gains more than expected. So they kind of look at where the players are,
right,
and they say, how many would a normal running back get against a normal defense, and how many did you get?
All right, so who are you about to hit on here? What running back?
Zeke and Cam Akers,
both. Okay.
So Zeke
looked like he had a good night to me.
It was good,
okay.
Yeah. He had 59% of rushes gaining more than expected, third best in the NFL week 1. So that passes the eye test.
Definitely.
That one checks out.
Yeah.
Cam Akers, on the other hand, just 7% of his 14 rushes were over expected. That was worst in the NFL.
Yeah.
So that's something to watch there.
Yeah.
But for Zeke especially, it looked like he, who knows, first game back and no preseason, maybe that helped Zeke. It looked like he had an extra gear.
You saw it, right? I mean, you saw it. I mean, it definitely. Extra gear, hitting the hole, I think, at a different speed than what I saw last year. But the big thing is when he got out in space, he was angry. And it was like, put the pedal to the metal as soon as I get the ball. And that's where he's at his best because, first off, DBs, small linebackers, man, you don't want to tackle Ezekiel. He brings it.
Yeah.
I mean, he really does. And so when he starts running with that kind of ferociousness and intensity, what it does, too, is it makes him a better open field runner because they always brace themselves like, oh, I got to get ready. He's going to hit me. And then it's, oh, he made a move, and he's gone. Oh, God, darn it. And I just thought there were some moments last night where I thought he made some runs out of nothing or got more yards than he should have, like the stat is saying. And I noticed it. I really did. I thought like he looked more like the guy I wanted to see than the guy last year who I felt like left yards on the field.
So we'll keep it in the NFC East conversation here with the Cowboys going 0-1.
Yeah. I wasn't impressed with the offense either in Dallas, just overall.
All right. Eagles, I'm sure you weren't impressed with them either because they lost to Washington 27-17. Per PointsBet, this is the new official sports betting partner of NBC Sports. Washington was plus 2,000 to win the NFC East last week. They're already up to plus 700. A lot of money coming in on the football team right now.
Wow.
To win or at least the chances are getting better. Our damn okay for Washington goes to Ryan Kerrigan and that defensive line.
What?
8 sacks, most in a game since 2014. Carson Wentz got sacked 8 times.
Yeah, I mean, insane defensive line. 5 first-round picks. You could see Chase Young and his presence right away. Kerrigan, of course, yes, we know what type of football player he is. I mean, it's just amazing the depth and talent they have right there. It's a special front they have. And, if they can make teams one-dimensional, which I don't know if I'll sit here and tell you they made Philadelphia one-dimensional. Philadelphia just decided to go back to, let's just throw it every play. And Carson Wentz. And at some point, they got to save themselves for that. This is another game like Jacksonville, I would just tell you. And again, I haven't watched the film, but just watching, they had no business winning this game. None. If Philadelphia would have just been content and going, okay, we're up 17-0, we got it. We're going to manage the game now just to win. Mm-hmm. They would have won 20-10, something like that. But instead, it was still aggressive. That's what frustrates me about Philadelphia at times. It's always aggressive. It's always go for it on 4th down. It's always, it's always that. And it comes back to bite them in the ass. I mean, they went for it on a 4th down one time, gave Washington the short field, and then, of course, Carson Wentz interceptions. Like Phillip Rivers, too. You got to have a feel for the game and the team you're playing against. That's something John Gruden really used to teach me a lot, too. See the big picture of the game. Yeah, we went in here thinking we were going to throw for 400 yards and do all those things. But it's been a quarter now, and you're realizing, whoa, that team can't move the ball that well. And, whoa, we might not get 400 yards thrown today. This defense is a little bit better. You have to reevaluate the game on the fly. It's part of being a quarterback to go, wait, if I take care of the ball, I don't know if that offense can really go down the field 80 yards on our team all day long. And what did they do? They never made them do it. 2 interceptions, set up short fields. The missed 4th down set up another short field for them to get in field goal range. So, really, Philadelphia is going to have themselves to blame. And when you don't have a healthy offensive line, does it make sense to go, wait, one of the only ways we can lose is by their defensive line ruining the game, so let's let them have that opportunity? They're like, hey, we're going to increase your chances to maybe come back and win. We're going to throw it every time. I mean, that doesn't make, like, New England wouldn't do that. New England would be like, okay, we're going to run the ball. Tom's going to throw the ball 3 feet, and we're not going to let the strong part of their team win the game for them.
Even up 17-0, you figure you'd lean on the running game a little bit more. They never did. 9 carries was the most for anyone. It was Boston Scott, and he had 35 yards. He just didn't run it.
That to me is, I don't understand
that. Threw it 42 times.
I don't understand that.
I actually threw it 42 times, tried to throw it 50 times.
Right,
but
exactly.
Didn't get up there.
Exactly.
So they lose. Washington football team gets the victory.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.